We will be starting now with Kathleen's procrastination talk. Please give a nice round of applause for Kathleen. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the philosophy of waiting. So the question you may be having is, what is waiting? So the definition of waiting is basically, it is procrastination, but it's kind of a step further than procrastination. Because it involves your emotions more, it involves yourself more, and it kind of involves your feelings more as well. So the reason why this is such an important topic for us, and for us at MISx and for us as students, is because it kind of traps the future generation. And I'll explain why later, but if you want to achieve something, you've got a goal set, and you say, I really want to do this, but you wait for it. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I don't want to do it right now. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until the time is right, whatever. But you never actually do it. This traps you. This traps the future generation because it stops us from reaching our true potential. It stops us from reaching things that we wish that we could one day do. So that's what waiting is. Here's some examples of where waiting is evident in my life, which is what makes this such an important topic for me, and why I believe it's such an important topic for us as students in MISx. So, for many years, I've been interested in music and the performing arts, and being part of, or being on stage, and obviously, a lot of that requires practice, and obviously talent, but that comes from the practice, that comes from your dedication, your time, how much effort you put into learning, and all of that. And same thing goes for if you want to be, a soccer player. You need to put in practice, you need to put in time and effort to be good at your sport. You can't just kick a ball and go into the goal straight away. You've got to learn how to aim, you've got to learn how to have hand-eye coordination, whatever. So it's the same with me. I want to be an incredible guitarist. I play guitar, I've learned to play guitar, I've taught myself, whatever. I've done all that. So I went through the steps, I bought myself 3 guitars, I told my parents, this is what I want to do. When I'm older, I'm going to be like Brian May from Queen. I'm going to be like Jimi Hendrix. I'm going to be like MISx from Dinosaur Jr. I'm going to be like all these amazing guitarists that I've seen throughout my life perform. I'm going to be like my friends who have who play in band rooms. But then here's the issue. I've spent thousands of euros on guitars, on equipment, but it comes to actually sitting down and saying, I'm going to learn how to play a scale on the guitar. I'm going to learn how to play a song on guitar. I'm going to play a chord. I'm going to do this. It never actually materializes. I never end up sitting down and taking the hour to practice, to learn what I'm going to do. And that is waiting. That is how I wait. Because I'm sat there saying, oh, one day I'll practice. One day I'll pick up my guitar and I'll be able to play like Jimi Hendrix. I will be the next Jimi Hendrix, because that one day I'll pick up my guitar, and without doing anything, I'll miraculously be as good as I want to be. That is what waiting is. And if you can't tell what the issues with that are, the issues with it is that it's not realistic, it's not going to happen, there's no time, that's just your own expectation. Another example of this is, many of us probably are readers, we've all probably read books. And so am I. Over summer, I became quite a big reader. I enjoyed many, many books, not only for my English class, but also for personal enjoyment. So one of the books that I really wanted to read is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. And when I tell you I bought this book in summer of last year, it's incredible how many times I've had, this past spring break, we've had Christmas break, and I've looked at that and I said, I could read for 20 minutes every day. And I could be done in a week. But it's still sat in the corner, as well as all the other books that I've bought since then that still interest me and I still love and care about, but I just haven't read them. And one day I think, I'm going to pick up that book and I'm going to just have it read. It's just going to be read. I'm just going to know what's in the book. I'm just waiting for that day where I'm just going to pick it up and it's going to be read, but I never put in the effort to actually read it. So there's the problem. The waiting, the stopping, the saying, okay, this is just going to one day happen. So the question is, where in your life do you wait for things to happen? What are you doing that's waiting? Are you waiting to learn something? Are you waiting to do something? What is that thing that you're waiting for? And what can you do to change it? So obviously, as you can see in my title, it's the philosophy of waiting. So specifically, I'm going to be looking at what may cause us to wait. And it really depends on your topic. Maybe just because your goal, you haven't, it's something that you care about, or something that your parents want you to do. It's like, okay, my parents want me to be a doctor, and there's some of these online courses, and they want me to take these online courses, and one day, I'll just know what's on the courses. I'll watch all the courses. But you're just waiting for that day where you just know everything that's in the course. But you're not going to take the time to go through and watch them, because your incentive isn't there. You don't want to do it, your parents want you to. So you need to reevaluate your goals, and things that you're waiting for, or things that you clearly want, or people want you to want. So you need to reevaluate. But the philosophy of waiting looks at your own personal thing. So this is something that you desire. Let's ignore the fact that maybe your parents want you to do it and you're waiting to do it because of that. Let's ignore that. Let's say it's something that you want. Just like I want to be like Jimi Hendrix when I'm older. One thing that plays a huge part into waiting, into leaving things, and procrastinating, into being passive in your life, one thing that plays a huge role in this is fear. Can you imagine a time in your life, or just think about something in your life where you really wanted to do something, but you just thought, what if? For example, what if I'm not as good as I thought? What if I can't do it? What if it takes too long? What if the people who want me to do this don't think I'm good enough? What if I'm not good enough? All those what ifs that get in the way, that lead you to not do what you want to do, makes you not achieve your goal. The fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of responsibility, fear of success, the fear of making decisions, the fear of the repercussions of taking control, the fear of rejection can stop you in your tracks in doing what you want to achieve. The fear leads to the over-exaggeration of the negative outcomes, leading to you not doing what you want to achieve. So you've got to overcome that fear. Now I know, it's easier said than done, and I know that because I'm still not Jimi Hendrix, and I never will be, but that's okay. So, another thing that can kind of affect whether you wait for things is your surroundings. If your surroundings are negative, and the people that surround you, your friends, your family, if they say, I don't know if you can achieve that. I don't know if you'll be able to read that book. I don't think it's good enough for you. I don't think you will be able to become a doctor. I don't think you should study economics. I don't think you should do that. Then clearly, you're going to put it off, even though it's what you want to do. But if your surroundings are good and your parents support you, and your friends say, okay, if you want to be a fashion designer, you do that. You go ahead. You do what you want. And they say, hey, have you read that book yet that you said you were going to read? Then clearly, the waiting might not be there. So this is a choice. This is one thing that you can have an effect on. Is if you're just waiting for something to happen, you need to take control. And that's my main point. You need to take control. But I'll get into that later. The next point behind the philosophy of waiting is the idea of fear or logic. Or, let's say, magic and logic. If you have a goal, something that's happened that you reach really quickly, you're like, cool, it's happened now. It's done. I've now read the book. It's done. I've done it. Right? You're happy with that. You've reached your goal. You're going to like that change. You're like, okay, my goal was to read the book, and I've done it. Cool. I'm happy with that. I like the change. But what we need to realize is that people, unfortunately, it's not something nice to hear, people are lazy by nature. I think we all know that. People are expecting magic. which is why there's the magic or logic. People are expecting magic, which is another way of saying waiting. You're expecting magic to happen. You're expecting to be able to pick up that book and say, okay, it's read now. By magic, I haven't put any time in, it's read. Is that realistic? No. Magic, unfortunately, isn't real. You need to apply logic, which is where it comes into, okay, the book isn't going to get read overnight. I'm not going to become a doctor overnight. I'm not going to learn what I want to do, learn this skill overnight. So I'm going to put 20 minutes every day, an hour every day, whatever it is that helps you reach your goal, you're going to do. And that only then is when the magic comes true. Only then is when the magic is real. Because then the waiting is stopped, and you've implemented your goal, which I think is the true magic. Instead of saying, okay, I want this book one day, I'm going to wait, and it's just going to be read. No, you put in the time, you apply the logic, and then it's the true magic. Because that's when your goal comes true. So, to conclude this little idea of why waiting is an issue, and why I think us as a future generation, no matter how old you are, waiting is a problem, I want you all as individuals to think, how much of your life have you already spent waiting for things to happen? Hours, days, months, years, or possibly more? And importantly, what exactly have you been waiting for? What are your goals? Have you been waiting for the right opportunity, the moment that feels right, a signal from the universe? Well, as someone who's been waiting for a lot of those things for a long time, I can tell you that they're not coming. It's pretty blunt. They're not coming unless you make them happen. And that's a good thing, it really is. Because imagine all the things we can achieve if we put our minds through it, if we stop waiting. It means you can actively pursue, or start to pursue, whatever it is that you desire. One thing I would say is a quote from Aaron Kyle: "Don't wait for the perfect moment, take the moment and make it perfect." Which is really important. I think you should keep that inside of your head at all times. And I mentioned before about taking control. If you're waiting for something, that's being passive, letting time go by, just waiting for stuff to happen, and watching the world, and waiting for time to pass by. You're getting older and older, and you still haven't read that one book that you want to read, or whatever your goal is. So kind of touching in more of that philosophy, I think you need to think in more of a stoic manner. You need to take control. If you're sitting and waiting for something, that is all you. That is all in your head. You are doing that yourself. So you need to think, okay, this is something that I have control of. I'm the one waiting. No one is forcing me to not practice, not read the book. Take 20 minutes a day to do what you want, do what you desire. No one's forcing you to do that. That's on you. So you need to take control. So, as Seneca once said, who if you didn't know is a great philosopher, one of the greats, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You're arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. What are you looking at? To what goal are you straining? The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. As I said, that's from Seneca. You need to realize that you're the one making these decisions. You need to realize how great we could be. All of us, everyone in this room and everyone in the world, if we stopped waiting, if we made these decisions and stopped being passive, and we actually achieved things we want. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. That was definitely a very important message that I hope everyone keeps on their mind for the rest of today, thinking of not just waiting, but actually taking action.